G'day, this is the Inner Chief Podcast, episode 327.
I am your host, Greg Layton, founder of Chief Maker and the Council of Chiefs. And I believe there is a great chief in all of us. And that through listening to the stories, strategies and techniques of great CEOs, each of you can find and leave your own legacy through your work. The Inner Chief Podcast is where you will learn how to think and make moves like a CEO. For over a decade, I've helped CEOs and senior executives around the world boldly lead change, inspire their people, and leave a legacy. So every 2 weeks, I'll bring a deep diving interview with one of these CEOs or another one of a mid to large organisation so you can find your own path to greatness as an executive.
G'day, Chief. Welcome to the Inner Chief Podcast and this special Minisode on right person, wrong role. In our mini MBA program, every couple of times a year, we bring together more than 20 executives from around Australia, Asia Pacific, and even the world these days. And one of the things we talk about a lot is getting the right people on the bus and the right people off the bus. Now, what's interesting is if you've got the right people on the bus, but actually they're in the wrong seat. Now, this can happen quite a lot. And in a minute, I'm going to talk about 5 different scenarios where this comes up, because on our mini MBA, this comes up all the time. And I reckon about half the people that come through the program have someone like this in their team right now. You know, it can cause a whole range of issues. It can cost you a bit of culture, certainly for the individual who's in that role. They're not feeling great about their career right now. Like, they're probably under a lot more pressure than maybe you're giving them credit for. Like, I suspect they're not very happy on the inside. It's probably starting to play into their life away from work. It really does impact a lot of other members of the team because they can see there's someone struggling, but we're carrying the weight, right? And that can really start to slow a team down. And dear me, it's tough for a leader because now you've got someone who you know is good, but you just can't seem to work out how to get them into the right place. So part of what we're going to talk today about is being not only just bold and courageous and wise about how to deal with this, but also a few technical things you can do, a couple of skills that might actually help you do this with a bit more ease. So, Chief, I really wanted to just talk through 5 key scenarios to begin with, right, where this happens a lot. So one thing that can happen is in one role in another part of a business, this person was a high performer, right? They're a good person who was doing a great job in one role. And I remember a story or an example. I was working with a utility once, and they had taken this wonderful leader as a senior manager in the business who was leading their fleet of cars, their fleet of trucks around the city. And they moved him from that role where he was absolutely winning into a central role to lead the transformation of health and safety. So a line management, operational kind of role into an influencer style role that at that point was really critical to the success of the business. And the poor guy failed, right? So he was a high performer in one role. We know he's a good guy, and now he's struggling. And a lot of that was to do with the whole skills that he required for the new role was almost completely 100% new for him. Right? He knew about health and safety, but he didn't know how to build the frameworks and the systems and the technology. He didn't know how to build the culture that goes with it, and he didn't know how to influence the senior stakeholders on board. So he really, really struggled. So right guy, wrong role. They ended up actually having a really great conversation with this guy and apologized for not giving him the support to move that role and got him back into his fleet management role where he thrived once again. The second scenario you might get is, look, they've just got this great attitude, like they're really taking ownership, but they're just trying so hard and they can't get results, right? And this is that scenario where they're just not naturally gifted or encoded to do that kind of work, right? So they might be, they might love the idea of the job and they're just naturally a driven person, but if they don't have the underlying core skill, right, then it's always going to be tough. So like if they're a salesperson and now they're in an analytical kind of role, right, that's going to be tough because they don't really have the skill for that, right? They don't really have this natural analytical kind of mind that's going to make that a breeze. Same with taking someone in an analysis role and putting them over at a sales job. That's always going to be a bit tough. So look at the underlying skill set and the underlying mindset that's sort of required for these roles. Right, great attitude, taking ownership, they just look like they're hurting themselves. It's going so hard, right? The next one is a really good person, but they just look a bit lost, a bit unmotivated, a bit bored. Now, one of the things this normally tells me is the challenge is no longer big enough for them. Maybe they've been in that role so long, it's so easy, they don't need it anymore, right? And like it's really interesting when you get in this scenario because you know you've got someone there that's ready, right? But they just need a hell of a lot more for them, right? This sort of leads me to point number 4, which is you get someone in a role like this, but now maybe they were in a previously senior role, maybe they acted up, which is really common these days, and now they've been dropped down. So right person now dropped down into a role that really is now too small for them. It's not like the technical part is too difficult for them, but also the scope of the role. They've grown beyond it, they've been up, and they just can't come back down again. That happens a lot. And often that move back down can be a bit of a blow to maybe their ego and their career aspirations. So they really do need something that's going to help them, right? So a smart, good person, but the role is now too small for them, right? And they can end up causing a little bit of trouble. But if you look past the trouble and look into the heart of the person, what's really going on here is someone who's now well beyond where they're currently at least in their mind. The next one is a little bit less common, but when you get someone who's joined an organization in an early stage and they've grown up with it 5, 10, 15 years in a business, and they've been in a mission critical role, a technical kind of role that's just played a vital role. They've been one of the heroes of the business and they've grown with the business and now they've got to this point where, wow, actually the business is just beyond them now, right? The sophistication required, the systems that need to be built, it's not their skill set. This is often one of the most tricky scenarios because, as I said, they're often a hero of the business. They're actually one of the core reasons you are here where you are, and they're a right person. They bleed for the business, right? They often work huge hours. But what happens in this scenario is they're no longer the person that will take the organization to a whole new level again. They need a new role, right? Some people can make that transition, but very, very few can take a business that doubles and doubles and doubles in size again, right? So when you get this scenario, that's when you really have to be quite courageous and have a really honest and truthful and actually create a new picture of success for that individual. So, Chief, when you get the right person in the wrong role, the first place to start is to just remember the mindset here, right? We spoke about this in Difficult Conversations. There was a podcast we did very recently on that. Chief, leaders are dealers in hope. When you get person right person, wrong role, I can tell you, in their heart, in their mind, things are not where they should be. They don't feel a hope. They're starting to see that the future is cloudy for them. You've got to help them. And sometimes this means really saving them from themselves. Having some really honest heart-to-heart, man-to-man, woman-to-woman kind of conversations, whatever it is, however you want to label it, get into that room, take them for a beer or a coffee or a glass of wine and help them find a future where there is great hope for them, where they can contribute in a way that they really, really can see. Right now, they're probably starting to feel like their contribution is suffering. So, Chief, get the mindset right first, okay? Then start to have that initial discussion with them about how they're going in their role, where they're starting to find these points of pressure where they're battling. Then research other options across your business and with any business partners externally or customers' business. Think more broadly, Chief. Think about this person has a career. It's their only career. it behooves you. It's our job as leaders to help them find the job that's right for them. Okay. What's more, if you're going to a business partner or a customer and saying, hey, look, we've got this person. They are an awesome person. They've been a part of our history. But guess what? Right now, we just can't find a role that's perfect for them. But in your business, I really think they could. Okay. So that might be a discussion you can have. Have a really open discussion with this person. And as I said, deal low, treat them with that dignity and respect. Discuss some options. Talk about scope of current role, maybe dialing some things back, adding things, going to an entirely new role within the business. And just see where it leads, Chief, right? Remember that their current performance, in the end, it can't continue, right? So we sort of have to find them the right role, because right person, wrong role, that can't continue. That hurts everybody. So if either going to get right person into the right role or actually find them a new role external to the business. There are only two options. And often we stand back, and this is the big thing that can really cost us, is we don't take action. And that is a decision we are making on our part to leave the status quo as it is. And actually, that's not good for the team members. It's not good for the individual. It's not good for you. It's not good for the business. It's not good for your clients, internal and external. The pain just festers away. So, Chief, drop all the stress about it and wander in and help this person, help them really find a future where they can have some hope.
Chief, you can find all the show notes at chiefmaker.com/327 or check it out on YouTube. Just head to the Chief Maker channel, chiefmaker.com/YouTube.
Now, Chief, do you find yourself at work in one of those incredibly stressful moments where you've got someone on your team that either isn't performing or is behaving poorly, and you know deep down that it needs a difficult conversation? One of those ones that can keep you up at night. You know, if you get wrong, there's going to be HR issues, but you know, if you get right, could actually be a little bit career defining, and it will make life so much better for so many people, but you just keep putting it off and off and off. Well, Chief, we've created the ultimate resource for you. It is called Difficult Conversations. Download, it's not hard, but what's in it is what's most powerful. The mindsets, the frameworks, and even some of the scripts, the words to use to make those conversations much more easy. Just go to chiefmaker.com/difficult and you could download the full resource right there. Chief, before we get into today's episode, if you would like to nominate a CEO as guest of this show, drop us a line with your nominated guest on info@chiefmaker.com.au and we'll check out and see if they are the kind of chief we want to have on our show. Now, Chief, if you're yet to rate the episode and subscribe, I hope you'll do so soon. It helps others see the magnificent value that the chiefs and gurus on the show bring to their life and career. So make sure you hit subscribe on your podcast app now, give it a 5-star rating if you think it's worthy, and leave a short review about your favourite episode. Righto, Chief, as always, remember to stay happy.